Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters. One of the most important concepts to understand in life and spiritual growth is personal versus impersonal. Understanding that difference can take you the whole way. Let's start with the personal. If you have need, it's going to be personal. All needs are personal. Your bodily needs, your normal food, clothing, shelter, it's personal. It's about you. Your social needs, acceptance, is personal. It's about you. Everything that has association with need, any need, is personal. It's only about you. That's what personal, and I'll jump. What does impersonal mean? It's not about you. Doesn't mean you're not doing anything. Doesn't mean you're not living, interacting. Doesn't mean anything like that. It just means the motivation behind your actions is not personal. It's impersonal. Now, that may sound cold, but it's not cold. Cold is personal because it's only about you. I told you my favorite line in interpersonal relationships is someone's dating somebody, okay, and there's two lines I like the most. I thought you really liked this person. Y'all were dating, you went out many times. What happened? It just wasn't working for me anymore. I love that line. That is the epitome of the ignorance of the personal. In other words, you are not in a relationship with somebody else, in a relationship with you. And you are expecting to get something from the relationship for you. All right? And it's just not working for me anymore. So I'm going to try and find something that will work for me. What does that mean? It's so selfish, it's ridiculous. All right? It's about you. The thing was about you. The whole thing was about you. And now you're going to go and find something that will take care of your needs and so on. Don't worry, everybody does it. But we're supposed to be talking deeper around here. So that's one, okay? And the other one is just as revealing as when, a guy talks to a guy or a girl talks to her girlfriend and says, how you doing with so-and-so? You're a person you're dating. And they sit there and say, he's a work in process. I like that a real lot. Like, what does that mean? It means I'm in this for me, and I'm trying to train this person to be the way I need them to be so that I'm okay. I've succeeded a little bit. Seems like it's worth trying, but it's a work in process. Trouble is, it seems perfectly natural to us. We don't think anything about it. I'm talking about the personal life versus the impersonal life. So let's get down to why are we like that? Because we are like that. It's because we're not okay inside. We're not happy. We're not filled with love. We're not spontaneously inspired by everything we're doing. It tends to not be so much fun in there if you're left to your own. So I'm out here trying to do things, find things, create things, whatever I can do that will make me feel better inside. A relationship can do that. Money can do that. Vacations can do that. Respect from other people can do that. Right? You walk in a room and everybody gets quiet, bows their head a little bit. Whoa. Or claps. Like, there are things that make you feel better inside, aren't there? Okay. That means you don't feel well inside. So the things that make you feel better inside is because you're not feeling good inside. So this makes you better. So the personal life is about finding the things that make you feel better, but there are also things that make you feel worse, aren't there? Lots of them. It doesn't take much. Somebody to say hello, somebody gives you a little look that you don't know what it means, body language, oh, that'll do it for sure. In other words, there's tons of things. It rains on a day you want to go camping, somebody beeps their horn at you when you weren't doing anything. It doesn't take much, does it? We're very sensitive creatures about this personal stuff. So what the personal life says is I'm not okay, and I've devoted my entire life to trying to figure out what will make me feel better and make them happen, what will make me feel worse and have them not happen. I just think that right there is you could take all the sociology books and psychology books and throw them away, because there it is. I'm not okay inside. And there are things that make me feel better. How do you know? Because I've had them. I've experienced things that make me feel better. If you have never experienced what makes you feel better, you can get depressed. All right, so I don't want that to happen to you. But some things happen in your life that made you feel better. You got the toy you wanted. Your parents complimented you. You wanted a prize. Somebody said they love you. That makes you feel better. I love you. I love you so much. Not if it's a stalker. You don't need that. It's so conditional. It's unbelievable. It has to be exactly what you want, and then it happens, and you feel better. No question. And if it doesn't happen, you don't feel good. And if what you don't want to happen happens, you feel worse. And there it is. That's it. Throw it all away. You want to know what makes a human being tick? There. Right? But the fact is, we all have different things that make us feel better and different things that make us feel worse. So it's not necessarily true that just because you want something or don't want something, that means everybody else wants that and doesn't want that. It's deeper than that. The truth of the matter is, everybody's different. Why? I go through it in great depth in a new book, Living Untethered, but we can do it very, very quickly. Why? Why is everybody different with what they want and what they don't want? Because you are the sum of your learned experiences. You know what you want because you've had experience that felt good. If you didn't have that experience, you wouldn't say you wanted it. I don't care if you saw it in a movie, read it in a book, somebody told you about it. It's an experience. That's an experience. And it made you think, if I go to Hawaii, that's going to be amazing. But she thinks if I go to Alaska, that's going to be amazing because you both saw different movies or you had different friends that came back and told you different things. So you're programmed by your past experiences. Obviously, what else would you be programmed by? Okay, you say, well, I have my own thoughts. Those are based on your past experiences. There's nothing novel going on in there. You're kind of mixing stuff up, little flavors of the same thing you've already experienced. So that's where you and everybody else gets their likes and dislikes. And now that's personal. Those were your personal experiences. I like to tell you this because nobody thinks about this, but they all shake their head yes when I say it. Do you understand that no one that ever lived or ever will has had the sequence of experiences that you've had in your life? No one. Right now, you are having a different experience from everybody else in this room. You're looking at a different angle. You're hearing the air conditioner. You're not. You have stuff going on in your mind. That's all based on what you're brought in with you, which is totally different than everybody else's. Therefore, you're hearing me slightly different. You like it, you don't like it. You are literally having a different experience. The next moment, you're having a different one. No one's having it. When you go outside, some people stayed inside. Every moment of your life, you're having an experience. Nobody has ever had that sequence of experiences. And they'll never happen again. Wow. Some people like to say, I like to feel unique. You are unique. That's about as unique as it gets. You're not just unique now amongst people, unique throughout time and space forever. You have a private showing. The problem is that when it comes in, some of them felt good and some of them felt bad. And then you stored that and you let it program your mind to saying, I need to get the ones that feel good again. And I need to stay away from the ones that felt bad. And this is wind up the toy, and you can predict everybody's behavior if you understand what's going on in there. If you program a computer with all the experience you've had, it'll be like you. It'll like what you like. There's a dating game for you. The trouble is all the dating games ask is, what do you think you want? And the other person says what they think they want. That's just right now. That's right now what you want. You didn't want that 5 days ago. You didn't want it when you were 12. You didn't want it 5 years ago. So you're sitting there filling out a form that keeps changing. No wonder people don't get along so well. Not all relationships last a long time, do they? All right. So basically, that's the personal life. I've just discussed the personal life. What is it? I'm not okay inside. I've had experiences that make me feel better and worse. Therefore, I want to have them again or not have them. And that's what I'm doing. It's personal. I'm trying to make the moment in front of me unfold the way I want it to and not unfold the way I don't want it to. That is 100% personal. Has nothing to do with anybody else. Okay, what's the impersonal life? Whoa, that's a lot deeper to understand. Let's just go to the extreme. Let's start with how it's easy to live the impersonal life. It's easy to live the impersonal life if you're okay inside. If you're whole, complete, you feel love, you feel complete joy all the time, you feel enthusiasm for everything you do, you just can't wait to do it. I get to do the dishes, oh boy. I get to take the kids to soccer, oh boy, I get to go to work. I work on an assembly line, I do the same thing every single day. It's so exciting. I try to do it better every day for 20 years. Whoa, you're in good shape. What if you were like that? Now you don't need anything. You have basic functional needs for the body, but they're pretty basic. But you don't need anything. And therefore, every moment that unfolds in front of you is fun. That's the impersonal life. There is no reason to be doing it for yourself. You're already whole. You're already full. You're already complete. If you have a relationship, it's not about finding somebody that will make you feel love. It's about sharing the love that you feel. All the time. No exception. How would you like to be in a relationship like that with somebody? All they feel is love, and that's all that's showering over you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Too bad. Why? Because it's impersonal. They don't have soft spots. They're not assaulted by anything you do, anything you say, anything that happens. They understand. They have compassion. Why? It's so easy to have compassion and understanding if you don't need anything. If you have plenty of food, and you always have plenty of food, and you always have plenty of food, right? It's okay to give food to people because you know you have more than you need. At that point, you're not even calling it giving. That's not giving because you're not giving anything up. I want to breathe the air near where you're breathing. Oh, okay. I'll let you. You're not doing anything. It's not giving. All right? So a personal who's living the impersonal life, who's reached that state, that high state of total well-being all the time, they're not giving anything because they don't need anything. And they're not renouncing anything. Let's get that straight too. What is renouncing? I'm not okay. I think this will make me be okay, but I'm not going to do it. That makes my stomach hurt. I don't want you to do that. Why? I want you to get to the point where there is nothing you can even think of that would make you feel higher than it's already going on inside. Now what's there to renounce? Nothing. You're not renouncing anything because you don't need anything. You don't renounce anything if you're fine inside because there's nothing to renounce. You're already okay. So the difference in the personal life is you're not okay inside and you're trying to be okay, very personal, based on your programming. And the impersonal life is somehow, and believe me, you're capable, somehow you are completely whole inside all the time. No matter what befalls you, it can't touch your okayness. Because your okayness is inside, not outside. It's not dependent on anything. You're fine. I want you to imagine you're fine inside. You wake up in the morning giggling. And you don't care what happens because it's fun. It's like Disney World. Your day is a day at Epcot or Disney World. It's just a fun thing. You're totally aware at all times that you're on a little planet spinning in the middle of nowheres. I always tell you this, I'm sorry. 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. And the sun is one star of 300 billion in your galaxy, and there are 2 trillion galaxies. I know what every one of you did today. A 360 on your axis. That's what you did today, is it not? You spun on the axis 360 degrees. What can go wrong? It's been doing it for 4.5 billion years. I think you feel pretty safe with that thing. That's the impersonal life. It's just truth. You've risen above this personal garbage that you're collected inside yourself that says I'm not okay, and I'm only okay if everything unfolds in front of me the way I want it to. Good luck. Because it doesn't happen, does it? And you know it's not going to happen by itself, so you worry. And you manipulate, and you care what you wear, and you dress, and what you look like, and what you said. And when you walk away from a conversation, your mind says, that's so embarrassing, I shouldn't have said that. Oh my God, what if he thinks so? You're in trouble. Because you're not okay, and you're trying to be okay by the moments unfolding in front of you. So we've got these 2 extremes. The impersonal life is not cold, it's beautiful. It means you're whole, you're healthy inside. And so now you can have fun with your life. You're only going to be here for a few years. I told you, the Earth's been here for 4.5 billion. Think about that number. 4.5 billion. How long are you going to be here? 80, 90? And then what? You're not here. Then nothing you did made any difference. I don't care what you think. No building you built, no family you had. I don't care what they tell you. You're born, you die, then you go. I'm not saying you don't go somewhere else, but you don't stay here. The point is, it's so silly to not be okay. It makes no sense. It's not rational. You're just sitting on a planet spinning through outer space, and it happens to be a very, very nice planet. There's fish, and how many fish are there? Oh my God, there's animals of all different kinds. There's people interacting. There's things to do. There's nothing to do on Mars. There's nothing to do on Jupiter. There's nothing to do anywhere we've seen anywheres. We got the James Webb telescope. We got the Hubble telescope out there. No one has seen squat. You can have fun looking at a burning star. You can have fun looking at a planet in close-up. There's nothing there. There's nothing happening. It's a little more exciting here, isn't it? And all you do is complain. All the time. Why? I'm not okay, and what's unfolding in front of me isn't making me be okay, or it's making me worse. I complain because it's not making me okay. I complain because it's making me worse. So you complain all the time. You don't complain in the rare moments that what happens to be unfolding in front of you matches what you want. How often does that happen? What percentage of the time that the moment unfolding in front of you matched everything you wanted? And it has to be pretty perfect, by the way. Color has to be perfect. Sound has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. It's a very small percentage. And now you see why everybody's complaining. Now you know why there's so much trouble. Well, what happens to people when they're not getting what they want? Some people, I won't use their names, they invade people, okay? And they take it. They just try to force the moment to be the way they want. Cause a lot of trouble, doesn't it? A lot of trouble, not little trouble, big trouble for everybody. Hitler did it, and Mussolini did it, and Putin does it. And we got all kinds of stuff going on around here, don't we? It's because they're not okay. They are out there doing something that they think will make them feel okay. I don't care if they're doing it in the name of their country. They're doing it for themselves. So you have to decide, is that the life I want to live? Do I really want to sit here and spend every moment of my life for the rest of my life trying to manipulate everybody and everything so that it unfolds the way I want it to, including the weather? Don't forget the weather, because it better be the way you want. It's too hot, it's raining on my day off, etc., etc. Just look how many things have to be the way you want. They're not. They're not the way you want. In the new book, I say a terrible thing. Do you want to know why they're not the way you want? Because they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be the way they are. What do you mean? It's not fair. Nobody said anything about fair. There's this law called cause and effect. It's a very foundational law. If you do something that causes something to happen, it happens. If you don't do it, it doesn't happen. In the Gita, there's this beautiful line. Krishna says to Arjuna, that which is will be, and that which is not won't be. That may sound stupid to you, but it's not, okay? If it's raining, it will be raining. If it's hot, it will be hot. If she's being nice to you, she'll be nice to you. There are reasons she's doing what she's doing. You don't want to know. If, you say to somebody, how could you say that to me? You don't really want an answer. Sit down. Spend a couple of months and we'll talk about all my background and how everybody treated me and what you said that hit my stuff, and I tried to handle it before but I wasn't able to, and I had a bad day at work, and therefore add all those factors together, and that's what I said to you. Is that not true? There's a reason behind every single thing that happened. Not a reason, billions of reasons. So you get to the point where you realize this personal life is very heavy. It's very difficult to sit there and say, I'm not okay, and you're supposed to be making me be okay. Who's supposed to? Everybody. Everybody. Everybody at work, and everybody at home, and the children, and everybody. Everything's supposed to be happening the way I want it to, because otherwise I'm not happy. Okay, eventually you wake up and you realize the problem is not the way the outside is unfolding. The problem is what you've done with your inside. You're the one who decided how it needs to be for you to be okay. Believe it or not. If you're given a choice between controlling the weather, the people, everything and everybody's doing, the newspapers, every single thing, go and control those to make you be okay. And you're the one who decided how they need to be okay. Your husband didn't, your wife didn't, your parents didn't. It's not your genetics. You decided, based on your past experiences, how it needs to be for you to be okay. You either then go out there and manipulate the world to try to match that, or you do this freaky thing called, maybe I ain't got some work to do inside. Maybe I got a bad case at once. Maybe I need to check this out. Maybe there's a way I can be inside that will be much more fun than saying, this is just the way I am. This is just the way I am. No, it's not just the way you are. It's just a temporary state of your being based upon experience that you've had. All right, I'll ask you a question. Have you ever changed your mind? Have you ever changed your mind? Have you ever changed your mind? Change your mind. Have you ever thought you would like something and decided you didn't want to? The trouble is you're not doing it intelligently, willfully. You're letting experiences happen. So I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go to Hawaii until I turn on the web and I see volcanoes going off. Now, no, I don't want to go to Hawaii. Oh, you changed your mind. You don't think you changed your mind. No, I saw the volcanoes. You changed your mind. because of some of your learned experiences. You can go, and let's get the cat out of the bag right away. You are capable, every one of you are capable of going inside and willfully changing what's going on in there. Why? You're the only one in there. It's a single occupancy apartment. It's your house. And instead of sitting there saying, this is some random mess that's in here. I got in a car accident when I was 6 years old and somebody died, and now I'm afraid every time I drive in a car. I'm very, very uptight. I grab for the wheel and I tell somebody, don't do that. Okay? You don't have to be like that. You just didn't do anything about it. You were 6 years old. You couldn't handle the experience. It was very traumatic, very difficult. So you stored it that way, and you've never dealt with it. You just say, it's just the way I am. It does not have to be the way you are. You're the one who's holding it down there. You're the one that didn't let it go. I understand at 6 years old, you didn't have much of a choice. Now you're older, and you look inside your house, and you say, oh my God, that's a mess in there. You know what's in there? Every single thing that ever bothered you, you stored inside. Every person insulted you, every person didn't compliment you, every time your boyfriend went out with your best friend, your parents got divorced, you didn't get the color bike you wanted, your sister got it. Every single thing that ever bothered you, you pushed it away. You stored this stuff inside. If you store everything that bothered you throughout your life inside of you, what's it going to be like in there? Bothered. Did you ever think about that? You do it every day. Anybody, anything that happens that bothers you, that's not comfortable to you, you push it away. Yeah, I don't want to deal with it. And then you complain about it, you talk about it, and it comes up in your dreams. Somebody says something, or here's better. You think that somebody might have said something. Come on. Don't giggle. You think that somebody might have said something. And why'd you think that? His body language or something. And I thought they were talking about me. They must have been. You're so cute. All right? Then you store that inside. And I'm telling you, the next time you see that person, you're going to feel weird. You didn't feel weird before you decided to have that thought. But now you will feel uncomfortable. Have I exaggerated? Or do you live with that every day? That's right. You live with it every single day. You're storing inside of you all of these things, all these uncomfortable situations and so on. And so how do you expect it to be inside? I started this conversation about the personal life saying that the reason that you are struggling in the personal life so difficult is because you're starting off by not being okay inside. So you have every right in the world to say, well, why am I not okay? Someone once wrote me and said, how come God made me not be okay inside so I have to struggle? God didn't do it. You did it. The world unfolds, and you decided to store every single thing that wasn't comfortable to you inside. How can you blame it on anybody? It's not your parents. It's not the person who did the event. Fine, you had a bad upbringing. This happened. Something happened. You had a divorce. It was uncomfortable. Yes, things happen. You don't have to carry them inside of you and build a whole storehouse of everything that ever bothers you, but you did do that. That's why you're not okay inside. No other reason. You blame anyone you want. They did the event. You kept it in there. You have things inside of you from 20 years ago that still bother you, that aren't happening anymore. In fact, they haven't happened for 20 years. Whose fault is that? Don't you dare tell me it's the person who did it, because they ain't been around for 20 years. They've been dead. You have to take ownership. It's your house. It's the whole thing. People try to explain to people. They write us a lot. And that's a serious thing that people have trouble taking ownership. That, yes, the event was not your fault. There's nothing to be ashamed of or scared. It's not spiritual. Whatever it is, not everything is comfortable, right? There's yin and yang. The world is just a happening place. And sometimes it happens to not feel good. The question is, what do you do about it? The event actually happened. You can't make the event not have happened. All you can do is process it or not process it. How are you going to handle it? And the way we do instinctually is we suppress it. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to think about it. I love people who say some bad experience, very bad experience happens to them in a short period. They say, no, I don't want to talk about it. I'm finished with it. I'm done with that. If you're done with it, why don't you want to talk about it? Because it bothers me. I told you I'm done with it. Why would I want to be bothered? Because you're not done with it. If it bothers you, you're not done with it. You know, you're done with a lot of things. The white lines in the road, you're done with those. You drive by them all day. They don't bother you one iota. Remember that one you drove by at mile 1603? No. Why? Because you processed it. It went right through. You drive by trees. You drive by other cars. And they just come in and they go through. What if everything did that? Oh my God. What do you mean? What if everything did that? What if you're in a relationship with somebody and they come home and they had a hard day at work? And how they act? Like they had a hard day at work. Is that okay with you? It can't not be because it's like the rain or like the trees or like the wind. It's reality. Fair enough? It's what happened. If you can't handle what happened, you're in trouble because it happened. And so now I'm not going to talk to you for a week. Go sleep on the couch. No, you feel compassion. The guy comes in, or girl or guy comes in and had a hard day at work and doesn't want to talk. You know, they just want to go meditate or want to go to the room and rest a little bit. And instead of being insulted, you spent all day working for dinner or this and getting all upset, you feel compassion. You feel, oh my God, they had a tough day. Somebody you love, they had a tough day. What do? Leave them alone. But you can't because it hurt you. You felt insulted. You felt personal. Right? So you get to a point where you look at it and you say, wouldn't I be better off not having all this stuff inside of me? All this stuff that I stored over all these years, and now I have to make every moment be something that doesn't hit the bad stuff and hits the good stuff. What if I just get it out of there? That is the definition of spiritual growth. So let's get down to what bridges the gap between the personal life and the impersonal life. You being willing to cleanse the garbage that you have stored inside of yourself instead of letting that garbage determine what you're doing by trying to get something that makes you feel better or not feel worse or compensate for this. You're just going to do it all your whole life. You do it your whole life. That's all anybody's doing. Is trying to get what they want and avoid what they don't want. And they're just using different techniques and different methodologies. And it's a struggle. That's why Buddha said all life is suffering. He didn't mean you broke your arm every day. That is suffering. It is suffering to wake up in the day and know that things have to be the way you want and how to get what you want. You're suffering every minute. When you get what you want, you're afraid of losing it. If you don't get what you want, you feel jealous or, slighted. So you wake up, and that bridge in that gap, which is what we really should be talking about, is, yes, you're caught in the personal. That's because you're not okay. And you're not okay because you stored not okay inside of you. And you do it every single day. Anything that bothers you, you push it back down there. And so now you're walking around with this bundle of things that bothered you. And you wonder why you're bothered. That's why you're bothered. Not because of what happened. Because you stored it inside of you instead of letting it go. Yes, you decided to have your wedding outside, and it's been beautiful weather, and it pours. It just pours. Next thing you know, it's just pouring outside, and you're supposed to have this wedding. So what are you going to do? Have fun. Have fun. Play splash party. All right? See how yucky you can look when the wedding, just watch the whole cake go, take pictures of it. Have so much fun. Why can't you do that? That doesn't affect your marriage. It's just a day. It's all 360. It's rotated on the axis. But you made a big deal out of it. But it's only one day. It's the most important. There's no most important day in your life. Every single day is exactly the same. You're sitting on a little tiny planet spinning through outer space, and that's all that's happening. You're doing the mess. The events are not doing a mess. So basically, the bridging the gap between the personal. Are you all sick to your stomach now and getting enough with the personal? You make a royal mess out of things by saying they should be the way I want, and the way I decided what I want is some random thing of what happened to me in the past. All right? And what I don't want is, oh no, I don't want to do that. No, I'm not going to Texas. Why? All my exes live in Texas. You want to see personal? Listen to country music. They get right, a perfect example, they get right down to it. All right, there's personal. I already said to you impersonal, right? Not that. You're whole, you're complete, you're having fun, you're excited, you're not struggling at all, ever. Whoa! But you're not living your life. You're going to work, you're getting married. Why would you get married? Because it's fun to share love. You meet somebody and you're sharing love with them and get married. Have a kid, don't have a kid. It doesn't matter. So you wake up and you realize the problem is not the world. The world has been here, Earth 4.5 billion. As far as we can tell, this phase of the universe, who knows if there were things before or after at the same time, they don't know. But this, 13.8 billion, I like that number. 13.8 billion years, we can trace it back, that we know it existed. As far as we can tell, that's when existence started of this universe, the galaxies and all this kind of stuff. So that's a long time. And it seemed to work out. How did it work out? I once had somebody tell me, nothing good happens unless you make it. Well, the whole universe, they say it started the size of an atom and had this big bang, and all these particles came out and they put themselves together, and then you ended up here. That's pretty amazing. And so did all the animals. And nothing good happens unless you make it. I heard a rumor that a single fertilized cell put into a reasonable environment, called the womb, makes itself into a baby. It literally knows how to take bananas and apples and pears and take all that stuff. And it's like, how did it do that? But you remember, nothing good happens unless you make it happen. I thought that was pretty good. That's a magic trick. Put a cell down and a baby comes out. Everything good happens without you doing it. The whole universe exists. You didn't do it. All the galaxies, all the planets, the weather and the trees, and I can't even list them all. They all are happening and happen without you or Einstein doing a thing. I would say a lot good happens. How about everything good happens without you doing it? Then you have this tiny little thing called your ego that says the world's not going to unfold the way I want. So the only type of way it's going to unfold the way I want is I make it do that. Isn't that what it's in essence saying? That what I want won't happen unless I make it. But to say that nothing good happens unless I make it, oh my God, where'd DNA come from? You all are so brilliant. You did the whole genome study. Who made the genome? And I couldn't care less if you want to say God or scientific evolution of how everything unfolded. When electromagnetic forces put themselves together into atoms, and then this sound the same to me. God, science, they sound exactly the same to me. In essence, what they are is not me. I didn't do it. I guarantee I did not make DNA. Okay? But it got made, didn't it? If I asked you to write me a paper, how DNA got made, not what are the genes, or they had to figure all that. It took them a long time, computers, every single thing. What made that? Where did it come from? There was nothing before the Big Bang. And science can trace this all the way through. Oh my God. Well, I think that's more good than anything you get the way you want. That's so personal, it's ridiculous. So you get to the point where you wake up. Your life is a waste to sit there and say, I'm only okay if I get what I want. Why are you not okay with what is? Why are you not okay to blown away that it even exists, that your body exists? It's hard not to talk about it. It's just ridiculous. 25 trillion living cells make up your body. 25 trillion, that's a really big number. And they talk to each other all day and night. And they work together. And they get together to make a liver. And they all agree, okay, we'll do it this way, those guys. And they make a muscle, and they get together. And they say, okay, when I expand, you contract. Otherwise, the muscle rips. You're not doing that, okay? But I think your body's pretty important, don't you? Okay, I would say it's pretty good. I'm speechless. It's hard to talk. How can we be so stupid that we think that the only good that happens is what means what I want, that you just made up inside your head? So you get to the point where you sit there and say, that's silly to live like that. Of course I'm not going to be okay. It's not going to unfold the way I want. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to unfold the way it is. All the forces. Why did it rain on my birthday? It didn't rain because it was your birthday. It rained because there was a high weather zone over in Spain that came over, and the wind blew thing, and it came down here, and it came and it mixed with the lows and the highs, and it rained. That's why it rained. It didn't know it was your birthday. It had nothing to do with your birthday. But look how personal you take it. Isn't that amazing? That's your personal life. So instead of enjoying, wow, there's this thing called rain. If it wasn't there, I wouldn't have food. Okay? Who cares about your stupid birthday? That's just amazing that we can think like that, isn't it? It's embarrassing. We're supposed to be the highest species on the planet. We're nuts. We're just so caught in the personal. So now let's make believe that we communicated. And you understand, it makes me suffer. That's what Buddha meant. It makes me suffer to have to get what I want. What are the Four Noble Truths of Buddha? All life is suffering. Now you understand. The cause of suffering is preference. The cause of suffering is desire. What does that mean? What's a desire or a preference? There's a way I want things to be. There's a way I want things to be. What the Buddha said to you is, okay, go suffer. If there's a way you want them to be, suffer. Why? Because they're not going to be that way. They'll be that way once in a while. But you're going to have to struggle. Was he right? I'm not saying you should buy into it. It doesn't mean how to get rid of desires. That's your business. But do you understand that if you didn't have preferences, and you are okay with the unfolding of the moments in front of you, you're okay. You're not suffering. So it's very deep. And then the third noble truth was how to end suffering and desire. Stop doing that. And then the Eightfold Path is how to do that. But we have a much simpler thing. Now you understand personal versus impersonal. Don't doubt that you can reach the impersonal. And that the impersonal is about, if I get this garbage out of here, I can enjoy life. I don't have to have a way I want it to be. I can enjoy the way it is. Now, that doesn't mean you don't interact with it. That doesn't mean you don't raise it. It doesn't mean just because, here, there's a car accident. It happened. There's some people bleeding. I'm driving by. I accept that there was a car accident. I see that there are people bleeding. There, I'm fine. I'm fine. It doesn't mean I don't help. It doesn't mean that I don't interact with the moment in front of me. I just don't interact with the moment in front of me to make me be okay. God, it's the deepest thing. Right now, I'm interacting with the moment in front of me to make it be the way I want. So I can't handle blood. I'm not going to stop at the accident. If you're clean, you're not doing anything because of that. You're there. You happen to be driving by. There's an accident. And you see whether you can help. It's not a desire. I'm not going to talk about the deepest thing I could ever talk about. It's not a desire. You can't help because I'm desirous. Oh boy, I'll get my name in the paper. Okay? And it's not fearful. It's not out of desire or fear. Then why did you stop? Because I'm clean, you cannot give me a single reason that I wouldn't stop. The only reason I wouldn't stop is if I have a problem. There's a baby fell down. You can pick it up? Of course you pick it up. Why would you not pick it up? Well, because my baby died and I know she has one. Or I'm afraid if I pick it up, I'll get sued. Personal, 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 personal. If you're not personal, it's obvious what you're supposed to be doing. You serve. You help. For no reason. Just because it's natural. We call it the dharma. It's dharmic. Like, I studied carefully in the English language. There really is no translation for the word dharmic. There's no word that carries what is meant by dharmic. It means what I just told you. You're not there. There's nothing personal. But there's a moment unfolding in front of you. All the forces in creation from the beginning of time ended up putting that moment in front of you. You're not judging it. You're not afraid of it. You're not desirous of it. You're clean. Now, how will you act? I will act in accordance to what is being called from me to serve the moment in front of me. For no reason, without any thought of reward, nothing to get back. That's what dharma means. I sometimes define it as that which you'd be doing if you weren't there. If the personal wasn't there, you're not acting. You're not there in your name. You're just there. And great things happen. That's the highest you can interact from. That is so clean. There's no karma. There's no karma. There's no karma in that action. You're not doing it because of your past. You're not doing it because of anything personal inside of you. Therefore, your action is pure. Does that mean it will work out? No, it doesn't mean anything. It just means your action is pure, and you do your best to serve the moment in front of you without thought of reward or fear. You're just being. You're just there. And it will call upon you. And eventually you get to the point where every moment is clear as a bell of what you're supposed to be doing, which is nothing. Not supposed to be doing anything, but it doesn't mean that doing doesn't happen. That's the Tao. Now we're getting down to Lao Tzu. This is deep stuff. The Tao is about that. It's about there's nothing personal happening. It's just there. The moment's there, you're there, and they have a relationship with each other that's none of your business. And that action is pure, and there's no karma in that action, and it doesn't matter what happens. You didn't do it because of the result. You did it because it was the right thing to do. How about that? It's the right thing to do. There's somebody hitting somebody over there. You're not some big muscle person, but there's somebody literally hurting and hitting somebody over there. Are you just going to walk away? You can't. You can't. It wouldn't let you. Okay? There's no personal involved. You're just acting out of purity because the moment in front of you is calling upon you to interact with it. And then the next one does, and the next one does. Can you imagine living like that? That's the impersonal life. That's the Tao. That's the Dharma. How do you get there? By letting go of the personal, not renouncing, by realizing the reason you have preferences is because you stored all this stuff in there. That's what determined all your preferences, is what you stored inside. So you don't get rid of preferences.
You get rid of the cause of preferences. I don't want you renouncing preferences. If you have a preference, look at it, you see it. Why is it there? Why do I prefer this over that? Why do I get upset when this happens? And you'll see, because I got stuff in here. If you let go of the stuff, the preferences fall off. And it's okay. Everybody says, yeah, but I have fun with my preferences. Of course you do if you get what you want. You don't when you don't get what you want. How about the feeling you feel when you get what you want? When you get rid of your preferences going on all the time inside of you. There's this rush of energy that comes up inside of you, pours through your entire system all the time. You're just feeling all this joy, uplifting, until you decide, no, I don't want to feel that joy anymore because of what you said to me. And then one day, it'll take you a while, you'll say, that's stupid. Why would I give up the joy, my joy, because of what you said or what you did? No, I won't. I will not. And so you let go of that tendency of personal and then interact. And it's clean. So basically, that's the bridge between the personal and impersonal, is you've collected these things from your past that made you feel better, whatever it is, and you said the world needs to be like that all the time in front of me, always the way I want it to be and never the way I don't want it to be. You lose. Have you noticed yet? It's not going to be that way. The moments are not going to fold that way. Why? They're not supposed to. They're tied to every other moment through time and space. They're the result of the cause and effect of all the moments that ever were. So you then come in here with your little mind and say, no, it should be the way I want. I'm going to fly you over to Paris where you've never been and you don't speak the language and you're hungry. And now I'm going to put you into a restaurant. Oh, there's too many people. Oh my God, I don't even speak English. And I don't know what this is and what's that. It all starts. There you are. You're a mess. And you honestly believe you're right. They should be the way I want them to be. People should speak English. Come on, it's a universal language. I used to call it the ugly American, remember? That's how Americans used to travel. You're all supposed to take care of me. Why would I come here if you don't speak English? I don't speak French. I don't speak Italian. Wow, there it is. The personal being, right? The impersonal being is like, wow, I'm in Paris. Wow, they don't speak English. That's so neat. I can say anything I want. They don't know what I'm saying. And I don't know what they're saying. They're insulting me and dissing me, and I don't know. I don't care. Why would I care? You can have fun, all right? So how do you bridge that gap? You learn to, on a daily basis, not all at once. It's not going to happen all at once. You just commit yourself to saying, I want to go from this problematic, struggling, suffering life of fear and anxiety and need into a higher life. That's all about feeling love all the time and being free. How do I do that? Free yourself. What do you mean? Every day something's going to happen, not something, every minute something's going to happen that bothers you. Somebody's driving the speed you don't want to go, somebody beeps at you, you get caught in traffic, I'm in a rush. The weather's not what you want it to be. A person's not where you want them to be. A phone, they didn't answer the phone. Total anxiety. What's it about? I'm anxious that I won't get what I want. I'm anxious that I'll get what I don't want. Just remember those words and see whether it's true all the time. And it is. So you start letting go. What does that mean? You start with the simple stuff, the weather, traffic. You said, I can't do anything about it. Well, then let go. Don't give in to these patterns that you've built inside yourself. And just relax. My whole teaching is relax and release. Just relax in the face of the discomfort. That gives it room to pass through. You stored it in there, now you're going to store it in there again? No, you can handle sitting there while the train goes by. Have fun, count the cars, be like a little kid. But don't sit there and let it eat your guts out. Oh my God, I'm going to be late. You're going to be late anyways. So you either can be late but be happy and be healthy, or you can be late and be destroyed. It's your choice. And so you decide to work on yourself. And that's spirituality. That is the work of your spirituality. You liberate. That's called liberating yourself, freeing yourself. Not from the world, not from evil. You're freeing yourself from yourself. That part you can do, all right? And as you let go of that, you're going to find out you get higher. Why would you not? You just let go of the burden that you're carrying inside yourself. What's the burden? You. And so you just keep letting go, and you're going to get higher and higher, and the bigger stuff's going to come up, and you'll struggle with it. Sure, you should. You struggle with your relationship. You struggle with your money. You struggle with everything else. This is worth struggling. Anything you let go within yourself, the energy you feel as a result stays. It stays. This is what it means to do something meaningful with your life. Okay, So that's the essence of the personal versus the impersonal life. I hope I've been clear. The impersonal life is not cold. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. There's no problems, but you're still serving. You're still helping. You're really serving and helping, and you make a big difference in this world. All right. Work on these things. Jai Gurudev.